Department of Public Works, so please join me in a pledge to the flag. Thank you. Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Fanton,
Here.
Mr. Demick,
Here.
Mr. Barnes, Mr. Curran,
Here.
Mr. Sear,
Here.
Mr. Healy,
Here.
Mr. Rumfelt,
Here.
and Mr. Stockin.
Thank you. Need a motion for the approval of the minutes for June 1st, 2022.
Motion made, Seer. Second, Curran.
Discussion, are there additions or corrections? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is carried. Highway, please. Dean?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to introduce myself, Dean Scholes, Deputy Superintendent, Department of Public Works. With me today is Tom Windus, County Engineer. Pardon me, Dean Scholes, Deputy Superintendent, and with me today is Tom Windus, our County Engineer. The first item on the agenda is Highway, and as we discussed earlier, Tom and I, at least for the next several meetings, will present as a team on some of the items that appear on your agenda. So with that, I'll pass it on to Tom Windus.
Thanks, Dean. Just a brief update on where we are and what we're planning on doing. Bridge updates, in-house bridges. Our bridge crew has completed 3 structures so far. Local culvert 2605, which is on County Route 26. We did a relining project on that. Originally, that was proposed to be a box culvert with a closure of 26. Shortly before we started construction, we realized that we may need to close the bridge in Belfast, so we didn't want to close it in 2 spots. So we decided to go in a different direction. We relined it instead, giving it about the same useful life. But that project is done. We replaced a culvert on County Route 1626. We actually had an iron pipe over at Friendship Shop that we used to replace that structure. And then we just recently completed and opened local bridge 0909 on County Route 16. That was a rehab with avoided slab panels from Whitford. Our next project is scheduled to start Monday, the 11th. Higgins Creek, Town of Hume, local bridge 2017. We'll be closing it on the 11th for approximately 10 weeks. Notice has gone to the paper. For a public notice, we're having a pre-construction meeting tomorrow morning on that. And then as soon as we're done with that, we'll start our last structure for the year, which is local bridge 2503 in the town of Ward. And had it there twice. That one will have an on-site detour because it's a dead-end road. There are some residences on the other side of the creek, so it won't be an issue with school buses. So doing it late in the year won't be too bad of a deal. Capital projects, Madison Street Bridge, as you all are well aware, that one got put on hold, awaiting an outcome from Albany. Albany main office, DOT, gave direction back to basically go back to design on it. They gave some parameters that the consultants will have to redesign to. We have a meeting scheduled for tomorrow to meet with not only DOT, but our consultant, Barton LaJudas, to go figure out where we go from here. We may have to go all the way back to the draft design report to address either going with a rehab or a replacement. Because we only have limited funds. In the directioning from Albany, they said they will not be coming up with any other funds. So we're hoping to do it within the budget that was allocated for it. Pine Street Bridge, happy to say we finally have right-of-way clearance on that project in the town of Elfrid. Bid opening, we're waiting for approval on bid opening from DOT. That's scheduled tentatively right now for September 15th, and then for anticipated construction to begin next summer. County Route 26 Bridge, town of Belfast, touched on a little bit earlier. They have begun the field work, soil borings. We are in communication with DOT from a standpoint, 2 things with DOT and the bridge itself. currently it's unstable. We've put a bunch of signage up to try and keep people away from it, keep them off of it. We've put up temporary fencing to keep people from crossing it. And the west abutment, as we've discussed before, is very unstable. It's continuing to move. It's actually accelerating in its movement. So we're hoping to come up with, DOT is approaching Federal Highway to see if they could authorize a modified design report. Typically, you can't go to expend any construction funds, which is demolition, until the design report is approved. So we're hoping to do a two-phased design report, one for demolition and one for replacement, to get the funds allocated sooner. We've been told that if it does happen to fall, or if it becomes an issue where we have to take it down, we will not get refunded for that. So we really want to try and get them to move the ball forward and hopefully fund it. Road work completed. All the cold and replace recycling has been completed. County Route 5 for the entire length, County Route 13C for the entire length, County Route 15 from County Route 16 to Old State Road, which basically finishes up 15. County Route 27B, the entire length, and County Route 43 have all been completed. The paving that's upcoming, we still have County Route 8. No, I'm sorry, County Route 8 is complete, County Route 28 is complete, and County Route 15 has been completed. Upcoming for paving, County Route 5, 5A, and 5C are all scheduled for August. And then the County Route 13, the short section in town, 13A, B, C, and 14 are all scheduled for mid-July to August paving. And then the chip sealing are the roads of County Route 2B, 19, 27B, and 43, and they're scheduled to start July 18th, a week from Monday.
Tom, could you just explain the signage we put up along the river
Sure
for the
can.
kayakers? And
Sure can. We put advanced warning signs on the transit bridge launch to tell them 5 miles ahead is an unsafe bridge to exit at that location. We've actually put a signage at the Belfast launch site to tell them it's closed temporarily due to an unsafe bridge. And then along the river itself, we put signage to warn people that it is unsafe to be under it. And Dean was the one that came up with, that sequencing of signage, he was spot on. Basically treat it just like you would a road as you're approaching the hazard, try and get them out of the area before it. So, and then around the abutments themselves, we put no trespassing as well signs to try and keep them out from underneath it.
so when they get to the County Route 26 bridge, they would have to exit. Is there a way for them to get back on if they go bypass that?
There's a path. I don't believe there is one in the county anyways, an existing launch. I think that's the farthest one north in the county.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions? Yeah, Mike?
I don't know if it's a question or as much as a comment or maybe both, but it sounds to me like you and your department have taken every reasonable precaution to restrict the vehicle, pedestrian, and river traffic. Is that correct?
Correct. We've tried to done the best we can to advise people, yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, probably not high on your list of priorities, but I have gotten some calls on whether or not we can provide a temporary portage to get around the bridge for kayakers. I mean, do you guys have any suggestions on that, or has it been looked at, or?
To this day, we have not looked at it, but we can take a look and see.
I just don't know if, I'm sure it's private land on the north side of the bridge, on both sides, but I don't know. Maybe that's something the county administrator can look into too. I don't know. Right, Carissa?
Sure.
I mean, people want to access the
Sure.
river, so. Okay, thanks.
Yep.
You got any update on County Route 48 and the Centerville intersection projects?
I sure do. County Route 48, as you know, we ground it to create a milled surface. It has stabilized it some. It's starting to move again a little bit, but at least with a milled surface, we'll be able to treat it and regroom it, for lack of better terminology. We actually coming forward next, the SWIP update, I'll let Dean talk about that, but we do believe there's water as the main issue and cause for County Route 48, so we'd really like to address it before we try and put any monies into fixing the road. If we don't get the water out from underneath it, it's gonna be almost impossible. And then the 36 and 3 intersection, we are planning on paving it next week. They have got the new crossover pipe in, they've done the milling, we have the signs in-house. As soon as we get it paved, we'll put the striping on, put the stop bars and the new signage.
Yeah, we're looking at that pond that's just above that. We are looking at a way to change that, right, Tom?
That's correct. Okay. Labella is the current consultant who does the monitoring out there, and we've asked them to update our SWIP, which is a stormwater pollution prevention plan, hoping that we can come up with a future plan to be less maintenance, easier to maintain in the future, and eliminate the groundwater. Right now, we believe those ponds are adding water directly into the ground, which is causing water to come into the scale house basement, underneath the road. So we just need to get as much of that water out of there as we can.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Thank you, Tom.
You're welcome.
Dean?
Well, we can, thank you, Tom. We can, Tom pretty much updated the solid waste portion of the agenda unless there are any other questions. The SWIP, the Stormwater Pollution Prevention Plan, is also a condition of our permit to operate or maintain the landfill. So we're kind of going to be able to take care of two items with one project. So, and that's all we have on solid waste. If anybody has any other questions.
Anyone have any questions on that? Okay, thanks. Go ahead.
All right. Under Buildings and Grounds, we're requesting to fill the Building Maintenance Supervisor position at grade 8, step 8, and that's referring to Resolution 178-22. We did bid that in-house. We had a successful bidder, Dan Moyer, who has been acting supervisor since Steve Brown retired, and he's been doing a fantastic job. He's really worked hard to fill Steve Brown's shoes, and we appreciate everything he's done in the interim until this is taken care of.
Mr. Chairman, Legislator Healy will move that.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second?
Rumfeld.
Discussion? Thanks. I want to thank Dan for stepping up and taking on that responsibility. That solved the problem that could have gotten, we would have had trouble filling that outside, so.
Yeah, and we appreciate the committee's actions to help be able to promote from within. So that's very much appreciated. All
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is carried.
right, under old business, Tom and I'll figure out our choreography a little bit better as we go along. I'm going to slide the crane update down to either before or after the Friendship Shop update. So I will go to the Rushford Beach update. Several months ago, the committee talked about the Rush Beach swim area and what could be done to improve it. Talking with the county administrator, it was decided the best, for now, we would just try to do what cosmetic things we could do to make it a little more appealing for visitors. I'd like to thank Jody Adams and Buildings and Grounds staff. We have new lifeguard chairs on concrete bases. The interior and exterior of the structure has been painted. New lights are going to go up. They fixed some soffits, fixed a gate. So the improvements are really nice. Somewhere here on the back table, I believe I left them on the back table. No, I did not. Just some pictures here I'll leave on the back table. If anyone would like to take a look at that, but I think they did a fine job, and we believe the association is pleased.
I believe the Rushford Lake Association is pleased. The Lake District is very pleased with this. We are also working on a new sign, a welcome sign to the beach, which will credit both the Board of Legislators and the Lake District for providing a public swimming area to residents since the 1960s. I believe we'll also be using the new Western New York Wilds logo and a link to our website. So if people were looking for more information on the beach or other activities in the area, they could find it just simply by looking at the sign when they drive by.
Thank you. Snow and ice agreements, they're still under review in the county attorney's office. I have an update for summer help. We had a budget for, I can't remember if it's 18 or 19, but we have 16. They're all on board now. The high school kids that we were able to hire started the 5th. Every division has help with all of our road maintenance divisions. The main shop in Friendship, buildings and grounds, solid waste, so everybody's got help, and we very much appreciate that and having them here with us. And with that, I'll pass it to Tom for the crane update and the shop.
Just briefly, the crane has been built. We're still awaiting delivery. We're hoping that by the end of July, we'll have it in hand. They do a 40-hour test on their crane before they ship it out and give it to the new owner, which I think is a great thing because they found an oil leak, so they're taking care of it before it comes to us. And then the Friendship Shop update. We put the plans and specs on hold pending internal discussions of who's going to be there, how the best space proposed for utilage and for everybody to utilize it, and then especially, where the funding will be coming from. We want to look for concurrence on all of that before we spend any more money with Hunt in that direction. And then funding of the addendums that have been tabled at the board meeting. In your packet is an MOE that Terry graciously put in there and put together the $25,000 to cover structural analysis, waterline design, and the geothermal return on investment and grant background. Yeah, so we will, I guess we're requesting a resolution for the following budget adjustments, and they're outlined in that MOE.
Could I get a motion on that?
Mr. Chairman, so moved.
Is this-
Second.
Alice Rumfeld will second.
all right. Discussion? You get that? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Been told to do a shuffle again, so we'll do a shuffle to the created positions. As we've discussed, and I think we've outlined the creation of new positions, there's a few on here that we feel it makes our jobs and DPW's jobs more proficient, more availability for personnel to be able to be redundant, so things don't get lost and things don't get dropped. We can pay our bills, we can pay our people, and along with other things that are on here. So we'll start with Assistant General Supervisor. There's a request to fill, including from the outside. This position would be dedicated to oversee and inspect all road reconstruction work, paving, cold-in-place recycling, chip sealing, in-house paving, striping, etc. in the summer, along with future planning of all this work. And in the winter would be tasked with overseeing the morning shift of snow and ice removal, along with verifying level of service provided by towns. It not only gives us all the workload mentioned above, but allows for succession planning for the future.
So moved, Demick.
Is there a second? That's the Assistant General Supervisor, correct? Is there discussion on this? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That is carried.
Thank you. The next position would be a junior accountant position. Again, a request to fill the paperwork, request to fill position form is in the packet. This position would be under the Public Works Fiscal Manager to give them fiscal manager a backup along with helping offset the existing workload. Position also lends itself for succession planning and to make sure, as we talked, bills get paid, people get paid.
I have a motion.
Rumpfeld will move it.
Curran, second.
Discussion on this? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That is carried.
Okay, the next one on the docket would be the junior engineer's position. Request to fill, the form is in the packet. This position would be under the engineering department and will allow for an entry-level engineer the ability to work under a professional engineer and hopefully, if successful, get their PE license. This new position would oversee the day-to-day design and construction of bridges and culverts and allow for succession into the county engineer position once their PE licensure is obtained.
So moved, Demick.
Healy will second.
Discussion on this one? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried.
The last one for creating a position would be the senior account clerk typist. And along with the junior accountant, this position would be under the Public Works Fiscal Manager to give the fiscal manager a backup.
Mr. Chairman, so moved.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, we have some other ones yet,
Yep.
Dean? Okay.
Mine are along the lines of just regular housekeeping due to resignations, retirements. So we'll request to fill an HMEO 2 position and all subsequent positions, including to the outside.
Rumpfeld will move.
I have a second?
Second, Demick.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
We're requesting to fill an MEO 1 position due to vacancy and all subsequent positions, including to the outside.
Curran moves.
Have a second? I'll second. Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is carried.
And one last request to fill an MEO position due to resignation and all subsequent positions, including to the outside.
Have a motion?
Rumpfeld will make the motion.
Is there a second?
Curran seconds.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is carried.
Okay, next we have a modification of our driveway agreement, and Tom can share that with you, please.
Just briefly, the new or proposed driveway pipe agreement, language and form is in your packet. I know we've discussed it, and it's just to streamline things. No form and payment directly to the county, and allows our district foreman to finish the process right with the individuals on a county road.
Can I have a motion?
So moved, Demick.
Is there a second?
Rumpfeld will.
Discussion on this? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is carried. Thank you. Have any questions from the press? Go to the order?
Yeah, we have in your packet an MOE requesting a resolution for budget adjustments. I think there was a budget meeting on June 15th where County Treasurer Terry Ross was asked about overages, potential overages for fuel and gas. And our office had been working on it, but unfortunately, we didn't get that information to Terry in time for her to give you a correct answer, so we apologize to Terry for that. But Terry, if you don't mind helping me out with this one, I'd appreciate it.
I will help you out. After that last meeting, I went through and looked at all the utility accounts that we had for gasoline and several of the other ones as well. I did speak with DPW, and they had some in the works about what numbers they wanted to look for the rest of the year. This MOE will address everything that we came up with. Unfortunately, it'll have to come from contingency to fund these. There's Board of Elections in the building and grounds. Portion of Board of Elections, their gas bill is gonna go, is gonna need more money, so that's the $4,000 on this MOE. And then solid waste for gasoline is in need of approximately another $50,000. And county road gasoline account is gonna need about $200,000. The other ones I found were very small, and they can be taken care of with county administrator's approval to transfer within their accounts. But these three required more than what they had, and will have to come from contingency. So we're looking for a resolution to move that money.
So we need to transfer, right?
Correct.
So we need a motion to transfer funds. Can I have a motion for that?
Cyril will make a motion.
Is there a second?
Curran, second.
Discussion on this?
Mr. Chairman?
All- Yes.
Sorry. So, Terry, would it be worth our while, I know you may have bad news for us this month on sales tax, but would it be worth our while to make an adjustment to our sales tax projections now in the budget and replenish contingency? Or is it not even worth bothering?
Well, before our payments came in the other day, I might have said that, but I'd like to wait now until the reconciliations of the sales tax are kind of figured out. We're a little, we were up significantly, about 18%. We are now only up about 5% based on the last two payments that we got for sales tax. So I think I'd like to wait before we made that decision to bump that budget up. We're currently up about $700,000 versus the almost 2 million we were up last month, so.
Yeah, is there any good way to just, I mean, we've taken some big chunks out of contingency. Is there any good way to, can we just pull out a general fund and replenish contingency? Or if we really end up depleting it and we get some of these whoopsie daisies come up, do we just pull out a general fund?
I think I'm getting your question right. We actually had quite a bit of money in contingency. We had separated it into three different accounts. We had 600,000 that would have been our normal contingency. We had 250 for positions, and we had $1 million in there for projects that came along the way. We are doing okay in contingency right now. I believe altogether we have like maybe $900 and some thousand left. So I think we're okay taking this out of there. But if the sales tax becomes better again, I guess I'll say if that really jumps up a lot, then yes, I think just like we did last year, we adjusted that by $750,000 and put that in contingency, and we could do the same.
But not yet.
But I wouldn't do it yet. I
Okay.
would wait. We've got one more payment coming in July. So I'd like to wait and see what that is and look at the last quarter as a whole instead of just individually by month.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Terry. Appreciate it.
Okay, do we get we vote on that? You did not. Pardon? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is carried. Krista, did you have something?
I had a request to fill the DPW superintendent position. As you may remember, this position is now vacant, and Mr. Scholes is the acting superintendent of DPW, and we would need to fill this permanently, which requires this board to give me permission to do that.
Ronfeld will make a motion.
I guess.
Second, Emmett.
Second, okay. Discussion on this?
I could just remind you that this is a board appointment, so we'll move forward with this process, and if there's a candidate, we will do a resolution to appoint that at a later date.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is carried.
Just have a couple of more things, Mr. Chairman, that Steve and I would like to recognize. Recently, John Maples, who worked out of our Friendship Shop, retired after 20 years of service to Allegheny County. We want to thank him for his service, as did Steve Brown, who was Buildings and Grounds Maintenance Supervisor, was with us for 12 years. We wish him well in retirement. We appreciate his service to the county. And we've had a couple of recent resignations, Cody Pomeroy and Rob Harms, to pursue other career opportunities that they couldn't pass up. So we appreciate their service and wish them well. That's all we have.
All right. Anything else?
No, sir.
Anybody?
Go to the order.
Go to the order.
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to take the liberty to thank Tom Windus and Dean Scholes and actually the whole entire DPW department for all the extra work they've taken on this year and have done a very good job of maintaining everything and moving us ahead in their department. And I want to thank you all for that.
We appreciate that, and we'll make sure your kind words are shared with the rest of the staff.
And I also would like to thank Dean and Tom. I did earlier, and I really appreciate Dean stepping up and doing what he's done, and Tom for the extra effort that he's put in. And so it's really appreciated, and we're fortunate that you guys are with us to keep an eye on things. So I appreciate what you've done.
We'll do our best. Thank you very much.
Anything else? I need a motion for adjournment.
Mr. Chairman, Rumfeld will make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second? Did I get a second?
Chemical sector.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned.
Thank you, everyone.